The couple suddenly noticed their neighbors were anxiously packing, as if they were leaving for a long trip. Confused, they went out to ask, but the neighbors gave no explanation. They only told them to run for their lives. Before they could ask what happened, the family drove away in panic. The couple followed them onto the road, only to discover the other townspeople were leaving too, as if they knew something terrible was coming. Some people didn't even turn off their stoves. The strange scene made the couple uneasy. For safety, they quickly took their daughter and joined the fleeing crowd, but not long after they left, they saw many cars turning back.
Where are those people headed back?
Though it felt strange, they could only keep driving forward. When they reached the town exit, they finally realized the road ahead had been blocked by the military. A helicopter circled overhead making announcements. An unknown infectious disease had broken out. No one was allowed to leave. Everyone had to stay in quarantine until the outbreak ended completely. Why had a disease suddenly broken out? The family stood there helplessly, not knowing what to do next. Suddenly a rock fell from the mountain and hit their car, leaving a huge dent in the hood. The three looked up in horror. Was that an earthquake? But the next second, two fighter jets roared past, heading straight toward the town below. People gathered to watch. They didn't understand why fighter jets were needed. Then they witnessed something horrifying. They watched their homes swallowed by flames. Everyone looked shocked. No one expected the military to wipe out the entire town. Before they recovered from the shock, the fighter jets turned toward them. Everyone ran in terror. In the chaos, the woman spotted a water tower. She remembered it was near a school, and there was a shelter there. So the family rushed there, but halfway up the hill, the jets bombed the place they had just left. Seeing this, they didn't dare stop, and sprinted to the shelter entrance. At the same time, the fighter jets seemed to spot them too. Luckily, at the last second, the family made it into the shelter safely. When things quieted down outside, they carefully explored the shelter. Fortunately, it had been built for war, a doomsday bunker, with plenty of supplies stored inside. But the girl only wanted to know how long they would stay there. As for that question, her father had no answer. He could only comfort her. Once the danger was over, they would leave immediately. So the family settled down in the underground shelter. Because there was no sunlight, the girl soon became claustrophobic. Everything seemed terrifying to her, and she had nightmares every night. Fortunately, her father was patient. He often played games with her and told her bedtime stories. As time passed, without realizing it, they had hidden in the bunker for almost a year. Every day, the girl drew a line on the wall, until the wall was covered. More than once, she wanted to see the outside world, but her parents always stopped her, because they had already realized things outside weren't getting better. They were getting worse, and there were terrifying creatures trying to break into the bunker. Her parents told her the virus had turned people into monsters, and they might be the only survivors left, so they reinforced the hatch and created 4 strict survival rules.
1. Never be loud. 2. Never lose control. 3. Never open the door. 4. Never talk about the breathers.
Even so, the girl still longed for freedom. To make her give up the idea, her mother showed her a periscope, so she could see for herself what the outside world had become. But everywhere she looked, there was no sign of life. Only apocalyptic ruins remained. After seeing the outside world, she never mentioned leaving again. Soon they faced another problem. The bunker only had limited food, mostly canned food, and supplies were running low. After eating bean cans for days, the girl wanted canned peaches, but when they opened it, the peaches were gone. The hole beside the can made it obvious. Rats had invaded the bunker. A bad feeling hit them instantly. After checking carefully, more than one can had been eaten. Even the canned peaches they treasured had all been ruined. 12 cans were gone in total. That was 2 weeks of food. With supplies already low, they had to ration food even more. Otherwise they would have to search outside. At the same time, they needed to catch the rat soon. One day while the mother and daughter played a game, they noticed movement behind them in a mirror. Turning around they saw the rat. The girl quickly called her father. Today they would catch the thief and roast it to make up for the loss. The father carefully approached with a knife. He thought he couldn't miss, but unexpectedly, he failed to stab the rat and knocked over the oil lamp. As the rat was escaping, his knife got stuck in the table. At the critical moment the mother stepped in and killed the rat with pliers. But before they could celebrate, they faced a bigger danger. The fallen oil lamp suddenly exploded and started a huge fire. The father tried to put it out with water, but the rusty pump jammed. The mother used clothes to beat the flames to stop the fire from spreading. After struggling, the father finally got water, but it didn't fully extinguish the fire. Fortunately, the fire was under control. With everyone working together, the burning table was finally put out. The bunker was filled with smoke. As smoke drifted out the skylight, they realized a bigger problem. The smoke outside could reveal their location. The father checked outside with the periscope. For now, nothing seemed wrong, but the mother remained worried, because such heavy smoke could be seen from miles away. The father didn't think so. Even if someone noticed it, the smoke would already be gone, and no one would know its source. But the mother disagreed, because burning wood creates smoke, but also leaves ash. If ash gathered outside the skylight, it would be noticed. The father checked again, and saw ash outside. For safety, they had to clear it away. It was also the family's first time in a year opening the sealed hatch. The girl stayed alone in the bunker, anxiously waiting for her parents. But as time passed, they still didn't return. She looked outside with the periscope. Fortunately, her parents were safe. But when she turned it, a dark figure was approaching through the woods. In panic, she shouted loudly,
Mom! Dad! Look out behind you!
But her parents were still busy, and couldn't hear her. Afraid they would be taken by monsters, the girl rushed to the hatch, using all her strength to open it. She ran outside despite the danger, but she couldn't find them anywhere. As she searched anxiously, her mother suddenly covered her mouth from behind. Then her father arrived too. The girl was about to explain what she saw, but the next second, it turned out to be deer. But deer don't run without reason. What were they afraid of? The mother sensed danger. The family rushed back inside. As the father closed the hatch, he seemed to see something, and quickly locked it with chains. They thought they were safe, but footsteps echoed above them. The daughter was still young, and she started crying from fear. Her father comforted her, telling her to close her eyes, and telling her stories. After finally calming her down, they realized the monster was still there. It seemed to be searching for an entrance. The three stayed completely silent, listening to the heavy footsteps approaching. Their hearts were racing. Then the worst happened. Something was trying to open the hatch, but it didn't keep trying for long. Maybe it gave up. Just as the parents relaxed, they saw something terrifying. The daughter's toy was hanging on a pipe. If the ring slipped, the doll would start singing and reveal their location. But of course, something went wrong. Seeing this, the father grabbed the toy and cut out the speaker, then smashed it under his foot. Watching her only companion destroyed, the girl was heartbroken, but her parents had no time to comfort her. They only worried that the noise had attracted the monster. They stared upward nervously. Just as they relaxed, the hatch began to move again. The monster had heard them after all. The family was terrified. The monster was incredibly strong. Even thick chains couldn't stop it. Realizing it would break in soon, the father searched for tools, while the mother climbed the ladder and held the chain with all her strength. But she wasn't strong enough. It was useless. As the hatch slowly opened, a horrifying face appeared. At the critical moment, the father returned with an iron rod and stabbed wildly outside. The mother shut the hatch again and locked it tight with a pipe. The danger was temporarily over, but the bunker had been exposed. It was no longer safe because the monsters moved in groups. More would arrive soon. Sure enough, not long after, they realized in horror, the ground was shaking violently. Clearly, more monsters had arrived.
They're here.
With nowhere to run, the family prepared to fight, but this time, the hatch was breached instantly. The three looked up in terror. Several terrifying eyes stared at them. They ran deeper inside, but the monsters had already entered. The mother smashed the oil lamp on the floor. Then they pushed shelves to block the way, trying to stop the monsters, but it wouldn't hold long. They had to escape. The skylight was their only way out. Time was running out. The father broke open the boards and helped his wife and daughter out. But when it was his turn, something went wrong. The opening was too small. He couldn't fit through. After many attempts, the father came up with an idea. He told his wife to hold his left arm tightly, then twist it hard. A bone snapped loudly. He broke his own arm, ignoring the pain. With his wife's help, he tried again, and finally made it out. But a monster grabbed his leg. Before saying a final word, he was dragged back inside. When he stood up, monsters surrounded him. Come on! Then violent fighting broke out below. The mother and daughter were devastated, but they had to keep running. The girl suddenly fell and dropped her doll. As she reached for it, the monsters were already close. They ran through the woods and reached an area full of abandoned cars. Suddenly a helicopter appeared overhead. Its spotlight locked onto them, but they weren't relieved. They kept running desperately, but they couldn't outrun a helicopter. Soon they were trapped in a giant net. At that moment, the so-called monsters appeared. They were actually armed human soldiers. The truth was finally revealed. The real monsters were the family themselves. At the start of the story, the town had been infected by an unknown virus. Once emotions spiraled out of control, the infected turned into monsters. To stop the spread, the military bombed the town. When they first entered the bunker, the woman noticed changes in her body and understood why they were hunted, but they still couldn't escape. The soldiers drew syringes and took their blood. Their blood was black. Clearly they were infected, which meant death. Despite their desperate pleas, the soldiers remained cold. At the captain's order, the soldiers raised their weapons. The two began mutating, but the next second, the fully mutated father appeared and instantly killed a soldier. Back when he was dragged underground, he had already transformed and fought back. The others opened fire immediately, but at close range, the monster was faster and quickly killed several more. But no matter how strong, it couldn't survive endless bullets. The monster collapsed and twitched. The soldiers approached carefully, but when they turned around, the mother and daughter were gone. The soldiers searched everywhere, not knowing danger was near. Her husband's death drove the woman mad. She transformed and attacked. Though she killed several soldiers, she was eventually gunned down. Her monstrous features slowly faded. Seeing her mother about to die, the girl transformed too. She tackled the last soldier and attacked him wildly. If her mother hadn't stopped her, the soldier would have died. The woman simply didn't want her daughter to become a killer, but the girl had lost control. She even attacked her own mother. Fortunately, after being comforted, the girl calmed down and slowly returned to normal. Sadly, the father was too badly injured and eventually died. As rescue helicopters appeared overhead, the mother took her daughter into the sewers, but they never expected to meet the neighbor's young son there. Led by the boy, they reached another bunker. Inside were not only the neighbors, but other infected townspeople too. They had no other choice but to hide there again, not knowing when they would see daylight again.